the strongest narrative right now in crypto is privacy. When we look at Zcash, which is originally a fork of Bitcoin, but private, has been exploding. You can see this right here on the chart, running all the way up to $700 plus, having a strong pullback. People thinking, okay, this is all over, but no, it's done another strong run up and sitting just under $700 at the time of recording this video. When you compare it to the market, it makes it even more impressive. Zcash is in the blue here and Bitcoin is in the orange. You can see we've had a decent pullback on Bitcoin. We're actually, I think, down about 15% overall, but Zcash is still absolutely flying. And Zcash isn't alone. You've got other privacy meta chains like Pirate Chain, which ticker symbol is a fun R, A-R-R-R, which has been doing extremely well. And of course, Monero, which was the leader before Zcash took them over, currently sitting at a $7 billion market cap. But you can see this is looking extremely strong, especially when it's been a nightmare month for crypto. So nightmare, in fact, that look at the fear, guys. Extreme fear down to an 11, absolutely dropped so quickly off the charts, dropped off an absolute cliff. And people say that if you look at what tokens are strong when the market is weak, you can do extremely well when the market returns back strong, because those tokens are showing you that even in a weak market, they can go up. Mert, who is one of the main characters in this privacy meta, says, imagine how new you must be to crypto to believe that privacy will be a meta, meaning just like a category or a narrative. Mert believes that privacy is 50% of the reason that crypto exists. And he believes the narrative is worth trillions of dollars. So with the demand of privacy tokens soaring, a lot of people are asking what tokens are next. And in this video, we're not only deep diving the privacy niche, but we're also diving into a very specific token which has a lot of strong narratives around. Not all of them are currently public, including alleged backing from people as big as Donald Trump Jr. So before we jump in and tell you all about it, this video and all other videos on this channel are for entertainment purposes only. Modern financial instruments, including crypto, are highly volatile and the majority of retail clients will lose money. Do not invest any capital you're not prepared to go to zero. Oh, and below in the description are 2 important links. The first is a link to our early alpha and whale tracking community that will monitor the wallets portfolios of big influencers like Musk, Trump, Tate, CZ, Becker, Murad, and Crypto God John, and will monitor these wallets on the blockchain and their social media for you to see any activity of new buys, promotions, or launches of new tokens, so we can send you a message the exact moment that happens, helping you move up the Web3 food chain. The second link is a link to our Financial Escape Velocity workshop to give you a clear and exact step-by-step personalized roadmap, and if you're really committed, make the world seem as cheap as Temu. With that being said, let's jump in. So right now, in places like Europe, Canada, and even potentially Australia, governments are getting closer to socialism and a surveillance state. In fact, Logan Weaver just tweeted, Europe just killed financial privacy, which all the deep philosophical thinkers think that finances and the right to transact is the same as the right to have free speech. He says, in 847 days, cash transactions above 10,000 euro will become illegal across the Eurozone. Not regulated, but illegal to have a transaction over 10,000 euros. And even Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin, in a Bitcoin Talk thread, replied to someone who was suggesting making the entire history of transactions on the blockchain in Bitcoin completely private because they're currently public. Satoshi replied saying basically that is a great idea. He says, if a solution was found, this is from the original Satoshi, a much better, easier, more convenient implementation of Bitcoin would be possible. He was pro-privacy, which is why privacy tokens like Zcash are currently running. And Balaji, who sold his company for $375 million, he was the first CTO at Coinbase and one of the most prominent thinkers in the crypto and privacy space, says there's 3 eras of crypto. First was proof of work, which went to 2017 until Ethereum became proof of stake. Programmability, which was Ethereum, Solana, all those programmable smart contract tokens, to 2025. And then he believes the third wave, again, more than just a meta, but the actual core fundamental wave of crypto will be privacy from 2025 to 2030 something. And he's not the only important person who thinks this. Naval even said that Bitcoin is insurance against fiat and Zcash is insurance against Bitcoin. If you search Naval's Twitter, he talks privacy, privacy, privacy non-stop. And even the Winklevoss twins, who basically got sued by Mark Zuckerberg about copying Facebook, and then they went all in on Bitcoin, made billions of dollars. They are now switching their focus to privacy. They also believe this is the next big meta. Who else does but Alex Becker? He says privacy, AI, and robotics. This is all you have to do to make it in crypto in 2026. In fact, Alex Becker went even more specific and commented on the exact project that we're partnered with and talking about in this video. Crypto Zach LA says he's been holding anyone since a $50 million market cap, looking like it's ready for the next leg up, reclaim $1, and we're off to the races, of which Alex Becker replied, anyone, this is the token right here, we're going to get into that in just a second, is going to go insane. It's got a monopoly and no one knows it yet. And I want to show you how well anyone fits into this privacy meta. Anyone protocol themselves tweeted out 2 steps. That's all it takes to fully anonymize some of the most popular Zcash wallets. Because Zcash, I'm going to show you a little graphic I whipped up for you, gives you private financial transactions. You can shield the amount and who you are sending to, where Bitcoin is pseudonymous, Zcash is Bitcoin, but private. However, you still have to use a computer, a phone, an internet, and they are going to be sharing your IP, your computer, and your location's details. However, if you are using Ator's private network, not a centralized VPN, we're going to get more to that in just a second, you can shield not only the financial transactions, but everything below it that could identify you. And a lot of people are like, oh my God, what sort of shady things is everyone up to have to be private? Well, similar to that original tweet where Europe is literally banning, making illegal transactions above $10,000, people think, because we're being brainwashed so hard, that because you want to be private, you must be a criminal. Logan says Europe treats all 340 million Europeans like suspects. If you're using cash, which is private and historically has been private for hundreds and thousands of years, you must be a criminal. This is the new brainwashing that is going into place. And in 1300 days, every euro will be digital, tracked, and controlled by the centralized governments of Europe. And so that is why this is such a massive narrative and why people think that we are early in it. Anyone says encryption alone does not equal anonymity. Unless you protect, as we talked about, your IP address and metadata, your transactions are at risk of being tracked. Because if you go back to say 2012, when Bitcoin was coming up on the Silk Road, and a lot of people bought illicit materials and drugs and things on the dark web that was bought through the website called Silk Road with Bitcoin, it was very hard to track you because you're using Bitcoin. And even though they can see the transactions and it's not fully private, but it is pseudonymous, they don't know who is associated with those transactions. However, if you just logged in without using the dark web and just logged in with a browser and tried to buy, they can track 100% of things that you do, which is why if you are transacting privately on the blockchain, but are exposing all of your information through centralized controls of your IP address, computer, and location, it's pretty much redundant. And that's why anyone is getting some momentum behind them at the moment. They say because privacy should be normal, using the transformative power of community synchronized by blockchain and the open source to drive real impact on the internet. And this is the nice thing about blockchain is you can align incentives, as I'm about to show you with their decentralized private nodes, so that everyone is in sync and working together on behalf of the network. But before I do that, I want to show you some pretty strong influencers who are behind them, because we like to copy trade people with influence so we can get into tokens at the same time that they do. And the alleged rumor, which I believe we are the first people to break here, is that Donald Trump Jr. is officially associated with the Anyone protocol. This is a snippet of one of the ads that apparently is planned to run on his podcast.
This is the digital freedom we're all fighting for. Privacy and freedom for anyone.
Of which you can see it is a full video of Donald Trump Jr. talking about anyone.io. Now, this isn't the first big dog that they've had. They've, of course, had Candace Owens in the past, and I'll insert this clip here for you to listen to.
We should not be spied upon by anyone, and anyone is the only network that's not compromised and protects you from tracking by splitting your traffic across decentralized servers around the world. So do not fall for that VPN trick.
And then even in the crypto world, you have people like Crypto Wizard, who predicted Zcash's run-up. He said that ZEC chart looks insanely good, called it back in September. Well, Crypto Wizard is not just a massive fan of privacy as everyone is getting into, but he's holding ZEC and what else? Anyone protocol and asking for more privacy related projects to have a look into. And of course, you have Alex Becker, who has taken a huge stake, he says in Atol, this was their old name, they're now called Anyone, and ZKML. And we track Alex Becker's socials and wallets on this channel, and he's still a massive fan of this protocol. Now, the cool thing about the Anyone protocol, it is also a play on the DePIN narrative, decentralized physical infrastructure network. In fact, they sent their physical infrastructure to me, which is a decentralized node. I'll put some B-roll over the top for you, where you can literally contribute your bandwidth to the Anyone network and earn Anyone tokens in real time. Now, you don't actually have to have one of these nodes, even though they're really nicely packed and look really cool. You can configure your existing hardware to be a part of the fastest onion routing network in the world. And basically, we are sending packets of data back and forth to one another on the decentralized network. So similar to how a VPN works, but absolutely decentralized to have maximum privacy from everyone's data. Of course, if you're getting into this, you can go to the Anyone docs and they have a step-by-step instructions on how to set up and start participating in the network. Now, Anyone at the time of this recording has their token ranked 564th biggest token in the world. It's currently sitting at 38 US cents and a fully diluted market cap of $38.24 million. This is the token that has strong affiliations with massive influencers who have extremely high price predictions for it. What do you think of the privacy meta? What do you think of the Anyone token? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.